The Supreme Court has affirmed the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local governments. In the unanimous judgment of its 7-member panel on July 11, the Supreme Court unanimously upheld the suit brought by the federal government to strengthen the independence of local governments in the country. A member of the panel, Justice Emmanuel Agim, who delivered court's lead judgment, held that the Supreme Court held that the local governments across the country should from July 11 receive their daily allocations directly from the Accountant General of the Federation. He ruled that it is illegal and unconstitutional for governors to receive and withhold funds allocated to local government areas in their states. He ordered immediate enforcement and compliance with the orders of the court by the state governments and successive governments henceforth. Today, we'll be discussing an important part of this judgment, and that is the local government tenure elongation by the Supreme Court. The judgment partly reads, under Section 135, subsection 3 of the Constitution, the tenure of 4 years for the President provided for by Section 135, subsection 2 thereof, shall be extended for periods not exceeding a period of 6 months at any time by a resolution of the National Assembly if it is not practicable to hold elections. By the same token, by a law of State House of Assembly, the tenure of local government councils can be legally extended for any reason such as insecurity or war if it becomes impracticable or impossible for elections into the local government councils to be conducted. The mandate given to an elected local government council is the mandate of the electorate of that local government area. And if the tenure is extended, it is the people's mandate that is extended. If the tenure of a local government council is truncated, as it is the norm now, it is an illegal termination of the electorate's mandate, and it is not to be encouraged, but roundly condemned. Let me start with you, Daniel. What do you make of this Supreme Court judgment?
Two things.
All right.
There is always the legal angle and the political angle.
Okay.
This is the legal angle. What they would not do is the political angle and agree to say, this is how we are going. If not, there will be crisis. We have some states that, River State is in October. What it means is that by now, those funds should have been withheld. But until you come, sometimes, the legal, this thing don't solve all issues. So if they come together, that's the political angle, and resolve to say, okay, can we start this implementation in the next 3 months? Can we start this implementation in the next 2 months? Can we do this implementation in the next 1 year? Those are political resolutions. They can agree on that. The political actors can agree to now say, okay, for us, for those who have court cases, that is for them. But others can now agree, because almost about 14 states or so, 20-something states, deals with caretaker, whatever nomenclature they give to them. So I think the political side of it, yes, it will resolve it completely. Let them come and agree. It's okay, but let it not be something too far in the future. Because sometimes the state governors have used local government. I was speaking with someone. Unfortunately, I didn't even know he was a local government chairman during one of, let me not mention the state governor. And then when we were talking, he was saying, no, I was having a conversation with his wife. Then he came in, and I didn't know he was a local government. We just, and he said, outside their salaries, then the security vote that they give to them, nothing else. That, who are you to bring before the governor to say, I want to do ABCD road? Who are you to do that? What it then means is that governor sits on these funds and decide what they want to do. I'm happy. Yes, we can say, oh, some of these local government are producing, but we are getting somewhere. What this means is that we are no longer where we used to be. But we have not gotten to where we are going. But we will get there. So these other resolutions, political resolution can resolve it. Then let us agree across board, so that you don't see that we would take River State money and we tell them and say, oh, because the president is APC, oh, the governor here is PDP. Let us all agree, as governors, as president, when should we start this implementation? Should it be 2 months? Should it be 3 months? Agree. The political resolution is good, fantastic for me. Let them come to a resolution and agree. And anyone who goes beyond that, the institution responsible can withhold their fund.
All right, we'll still come back to the political resolution that you talked about and the move that the federal government and the state governors have made so far. But before we come to that, Chizi, what is your take on this story?
I think I'm the happiest individual, in this country that today we have a kind of autonomy of the local government. In fact, I wanted a total autonomy of the local government because, he is saying his own. I can tell you that I have a governor whose wife built all the secretariat of the local government in Rivers State. And they can't say no because, of course, where the money is coming from. And so they award contracts from that post to that other district. And that's why you can't do anything as a local government chairman. You will be shocked that you have a local government chairman as a friend and you bring a very beautiful proposal for you to do something that will benefit our people, and the guy tells you there's no fund. And you know how much that is coming to that guy's account. So they actually, before now, they were actually the liaison officers of the governor. They weren't actually local government chairman. And no wonder even the councillors will have to wait for the chairman to give them whatever he likes. It's shocking to know that the councillors can go to the chairman's house and then stay and then wait for the chairman because the chairman is also waiting for the governor. It's a very, very, I wouldn't know how to qualify that because so that for want of words and then, so that their profession will not catch me on. If not, I will tell you that this is a very stupid arrangement. Our local government let's have an autonomous local government. In fact, let us even have independent National Electoral Commission conducting their elections.
But then there are concerns around different quarters. PDP has even come out as of yesterday to speak against this this local government autonomy, and they said that the federal government is trying to build its own bureaucracy. You understand? And a lot of persons are saying that this move, the local government autonomy, made by this move made by the federal government, that the federal government is arrogating more powers to itself. And one would wonder, we have a federating unit, right? And then, according to Nigerian constitution, there is clear independence. There should be clear independence. And if the state is a federating unit on its own, and there are sub-federating units, which should be the local government, why can't they enjoy the same autonomy? Now, the local government being independent from the state, as the states are also independent from the federal, wouldn't it give room for better governance, more transparency, and then also, to a large extent, some states have to lobby the federal government, because probably we are not looking at the political perspective of all these things. The states have to lobby the federal government. The federal government also have to lobby states during elections. So now, it is now left for governors at this point in time not to give order anymore and arrogate powers of the local governments to themselves, but to also rule, knowing that these local governments, are on their own independent and strong on their own. So the governor would have to govern well, knowing that if he wants re-election, there will be need to lobby them in this instance and not, take over, because he can remove and replace and do as he likes. But then, these are concerns from different quarters, different school of thoughts. But let me hear what you have to say about that.
I think from what you said, once our concern is about election, the purpose is defeated.
What is the concern of the politicians?
No, that is why okay, now, can I ask you, the way we run the local government, is that the best way? That is one. Two, I think the federal government didn't take any position. What the federal government did was to go to court and say, please, court, help us interpret what this means for us to have a better society. The federal government didn't take any decision. There is nowhere you see that this was a decision of the Federal Executive Council. No, they didn't take any decision. It is a court that said, based on what you brought before me,
The prayers.
Joining these 36, they joined, don't forget, they joined in that matter. Joining these 36 states governors. This is our position on it. And it remains a law. So at what point did the federal government had a say in all of this? The federal government went to court.
Because they said the federal government will not be
No. Yes, that's what the court said.
Mm-hmm.
If it was during the Buhari's time, Buhari had an executive order, then you can say this is what the federal government position is because of an executive order. But the Tinubu administration didn't do that. They went to court to say, please, sir, can you please interpret this? Then the state on their own joined the matter at the Supreme Court. So for me, he said something about whether elections, all of that. And these are things that we have been having several debates on. First, the election in Rivers State. Who should conduct that election? Is it RISEC or INEC? If you say it is INEC who is supposed to conduct that election, or it is RISEC, let RISEC produce its own data. They don't have.
Which they don't have.
All the states don't have. They rely on INEC's data, INEC's sensitive materials, INEC, they rely on INEC. And so to me, if, as an analyst, I take back to say, okay, if you rely on me to give you everything, why don't I just conduct the elections? Why should I not just conduct the elections? Because at every time, probably now, maybe because of this judgment, maybe some states will now have to go back and start collecting its own data for future elections. Probably, maybe. But as for today, all they use from A to Z is INEC. It's INEC data and properties. And so if they use INEC data, why not allow INEC to conduct that elections? Though I'm an advocate of what you call allow the federating units empower itself. But as of today, for what we have, no state has any data to conduct elections. If INEC withhold its own data, no state can conduct anything. And so, why not allow INEC conduct now? Why we give you the same way they are looking at giving some time, we will give you some time of 2 years, allow a state generate its own data. So that the data for Rivers State, we cannot access it.
If you say let state INEC conduct elections, does that guarantee autonomy of the local government? Because if state INEC is conducting elections for local government, the funds will have to be released by the state governor. And it trickles down to the crisis in Rivers State. For example, towards the expiration of the tenure of the outcome chairman, you recall there were calls from different quarters for the RISEC to release dates for council elections. And at some point, the RISEC came out to say they have not been funded. You know, on my show as well, I recall some of the analysts that came and some people who were very close to the corridors of power said, even went as far as saying that the Rivers State appropriation bill, that the council elections and funds to INEC were not captured in the budget. You know, that was some of the things that were being bandied around. And the governor remained mute. If you recall, that also led to the local government election law number 5 as enacted by Martin Samehule and the others, which the executive arm of government also went to court, to the court of Justice Kyo, the Rivers State High Court, to make a nonsense of that law. Now, the Supreme Court has come out in their judgment and upheld, because what the judgment, to a large extent, even further affirms the local government law number 5 by Martin Samehule, extending the tenure of this local government chairman. How do you see that playing out if state INEC is still to conduct elections? These governors can, out of their own discretion.
No, you see, it boils down to what I said before. So? Once you are sworn in as a governor, you become governor for everyone. It is a baggage of their political party that they carry, the sentiment of their political party. Ordinarily, how is a budget being prepared? You expect that every ministry every parastatal
will have an input.
Will have an input in a budget to say, oh, local government.
But the budget was hurriedly presented.
No. I will not use the word hurriedly.
The appropriation
they were
bill.
supposed to do that. Whether hurriedly presented doesn't mean hurriedly compiled. It has been.
You would recall the 2024 appropriation bill when it was presented to the National Assembly. It was not presented and passed immediately. In fact,
no, this is tradition in River State. No, this is tradition in River State.
Tradition doesn't mean it's not faulty.
No, I'm only saying.
Hold on, Daniel, because you recall that it was presented and ministries were asked to have an input, to speak.
Defend it.
Some ministries were even writing and they were actually asking for an increment that they should be considered and, more funds be allocated to them as it were. There were back and forth. There were conversations around it, right? But in this case, particularly in the 2024 appropriation bill, it was done in a matter of hours.
No, in River State.
And now, down the line, when it's time for elections, some persons were now coming out to say it was not captured in the appropriation bill.
See, yes, even if it was not captured, that's why you have what you call supplementary. You can do that. But I'm saying that even during weak case administration, nobody saw the budget. People only saw when it was presented. No one could come out then, in the last 8 years, to say this was what was allocated to ABC. Nothing. People, at a point, people were having press conference to say they cannot find the budget of River State.
That is it doesn't make it right.
No, I'm only saying that when you use the word hurriedly in River State,
it is a modus operandi.
This has been their tradition.
No, but it's not
it's
right.
It's time for it.
And of course, it's not right. It's not right.
So what is not right is not right.
No, the word hurriedly presented is different from hurriedly compiled. The budget might not be hurriedly compiled.
Then why was the research funding not part of it?
No, you are not expected. See, that's why there is supplementary budget. Certain things can come up and say, because of exigencies.
The elections had a calendar.
No, I am not defending the state government. I'm not. What I'm saying is that when it comes to Rivers, I don't believe that hurriedly. There has been precedents from Amaechi's time. They go, even before the governor will drive from there to his office, it will be announced that the budget has been passed. When last did you have any ministry in River State defending a budget publicly? This has been the tradition in River State.
Then don't you think it's time for that to change?
Of course, that's why I said sometimes we come up as governors or legislators or as PDP, APC. If it is for governance, you would know that the Ikwere man, the John man, this man want to know what is in this budget 2024 for us as a people. It has never been there.
All right, Chizzy, very quickly, what do you have to say in response to that before we round up the show?
No, when he said that it may not be hurriedly compiled, isn't that's the word he used?
Yes.
And I said, if it was not hurriedly compiled, why would a ministry now come to write for an increment? That means it didn't come from you in the first instance.
Right for funds.
No. A ministry coming to say, please, we're begging that you should increase our budget. Okay. That means it didn't come from you.
The ministry.
It didn't come from the ministry. So both the compilation and the presentations that were all hurriedly. Because an institution as sensitive as RISEC cannot be left out of a budget. If not for anything, for their salary. It cannot be left out of. It's just because I think that the governor has made up his mind not to conduct election. That's what it means. If not, there is no reason why. The election, you have timetable, you know when this supposed tenure is expiring, so you just make up your mind. That's why the extension. That's why when the judgment came that look, you can extend it, because if you see, my fear for that judgment, I love that judgment, but my fear for that judgment is that because they know that there is a reason why you can extend a local government or the state, that some people might intentionally allow elections so that they will extend their tenure.
Exactly.
That's even my fear. As much as it is good, of course,
people might actually create insecurity or make the atmosphere impractical
for election.
to build on that.
So that they can build and extend.
They can keep
Of course, I know that as a person, that any problem you solve today have the potential of bringing another problem. I know that. And the problem is how to solve that other problem. But for today, I think that the governors should learn to know that elections, the local government elections should be allowed, and local government should be allowed to function as, of course, they are the aspect of government.
But those guys now, are they still the local government chairman?
For now, that's the contradiction.
Now that's the contradiction.
That's the contradiction that is there.
But sadly, we are out of time.